Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. Today our group will present an analysis towards historical development of fiqh and its implication in the halal industry. The presenter is Muhammad Aiman Haikal bin Kamal Tuzaman, Naufal bin Yazid, Luqmanul Hakim bin Karudin, Nik Muhammad Azam bin Zaradi, and Muhammad Daniel bin Jamaluddin.
Today we're going to talk about introduction, objective, historical development of fiqh, implication in the halal industry, and the conclusion. Introduction. Fiqh nowadays have many law about certain things. Fiqh is a part of the greatest shara'. It lays down the right guideline for a mujtahid to infer a law to solve a problem in Islamic law. The objective is to analyze the historical development of fiqh from the era of Prophet Muhammad SAW until now. Second is to study the implication of fiqh development towards the halal industry. And lastly, to apply the knowledge as our guide in our daily life. My name is Luqmanul Hakim bin Karudin and my student ID is 2022961545. And I'm going to talk about historical development of fiqh. Firstly, what is fiqh? Fiqh is a human understanding of divine Islamic law as revealed in the Quran and the Sunnah. Fiqh develops through interpretation, that is ijtihad of the Quran and the Sunnah by ulama, and it is implemented by the fatwa of ulama on questions presented to them. There are four primary eras in the history and the development of fiqh. First, the era of Prophet Muhammad SAW. Second is the era of the rightly guided caliphs, Khulafa al-Rashidin. Third, the era of companions, Sahaba, and successor, Tabi'in, were the birth of four mazhab known until now, that is Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali. Lastly, the era of codification, that is Tabi' at-Tabi'in. Throughout the era of Prophet Muhammad SAW till the era of companions, there's no such thing as fiqh or usul fiqh or munaqahat. In the era of Prophet Muhammad SAW, all the problems related to fiqh that arise will be solved by the Prophet Muhammad SAW himself through the Quran and Hadith, and sometimes his interpretation, that is ijtihad. Same as well in the era of rightly guided caliphs, or what we call Rashidun Caliphate. And in the era of companions, it's because they receive the teachings of Prophet Muhammad SAW directly, they can make their ijtihad to solve the fiqh problems that arise. The terms of fiqh and usul fiqh or al-munaqahat arise in the era of successor, because in that era there were many fiqh problems that are not in the Quran, the Hadith, or the Sunnah. There are also many fiqh hadith made at that time to suit the rulers' legislation. Because of that, four schools of thought were born, and that is Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali, to set things back right to their path. All Muslims in the world follow these four schools of thought till nowadays.
Next is analysis and its implication in the halal industry. So there are four parts of subtopic. Number one is Malaysia, followed by Mazhab Imam Shafi'i. Number two, changing of rules by Mazhab. Number three, istihala concept in halal industry. And number four, view of ulama about born China.
My name Muhammad Daniel bin Jamaluddin.
Four major sects recognized in Islam in understanding the Sharia law, problem in fiqh, are the Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali. In Malaysia, Article 3 of the Federal Constitution stipulates that Islam is the religion of the Federation, without elaborating further on sectarian aspects that needs to be followed by Muslims in the country. For the majority of Muslims in Malaysia, Shafi'i sect is a reference and guidance in their daily practice. Although there are various sects within Islam, all Muslims believe in the concept of Tawheed, believe in one God, Allah, believe in the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him. The four major sects, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and the Hanbali, are sometimes mistakenly understood as different sects, but they are not. These four schools of law only differ in minor issues of application. These mazhab continue to seek and to find Islamic solution to the answer posed by evolving societies regardless of time or place. Brief history of mazhab Shafi'i influence in Malaysia. Among the four sects, Muslims in Malaysia choose Shafi'i sect to practice in their daily life. It is because when we do some research, we found that the Islamic law in Malacca was based on Shafi'i mazhab. Because the traders were mostly Shafi'is, Hukum Kandun Melaka, Undang-Undang Laut Melaka were based on Shafi'i school of law. Although the Shafi'i school came later compared to any other schools of fiqh, it was easily accepted among the people and rulers of the country. Its moderateness could have been the factor because by nature, the Malays themselves are moderate in their daily practice. We also found that many Arab preachers, also known as Da'i, who came to the Malay archipelago were all Shafi'i sect until it became a very strong factor in the spreading of the Ash-Shafi'i sect in the Malay archipelago to produce many local Ash-Shafi'i sect scholars. Then the local scholars were appointed mufti and government advisor. The factor that led the sect of the Shafi'i as an official sect enforced over Muslim in the Malay archipelago. Influence of Mazhab Shafi'i in various aspects of fiqh. We go to Ibadah. Authorities to be followed. Section 39, Federal of Territories, 1993. In issuing any fatwa under Section 34 or certifying any opinion under Section 38, the Mufti shall ordinarily follow the accepted views, Qaul Muqtamad, of the Mazhab Shafi'i. If the Mufti considers that following the Qaul Muqtamad of the Mazhab Shafi'i will lead to a situation which is repugnant to public interest, the Mufti may follow the Qaul Muqtamad of the Mazhab Hanafi, Maliki or Hanbali. If the Mufti considers that none of the Qaul Muqtamad of the four Mazhabs may be followed without leading to a situation which is repugnant to public interest, the Mufti may then resolve the question according to his own judgment without being bound by the Qaul Muqtamad of any of the four mazhabs.
My name is Muhammad Ahmad Haikal bin Muhammad Kamarul Zaman, student no 20229100301. Okay, today I want to present about my topic is a changing of rules by mazhab. Okay, let's go. Most Islamic countries practice concept of mazhab, describing the official sect that must be practiced. For example, Malaysian people practice the mazhab Shafi'i, and Pakistan and China Muslim people practice the mazhab Hanafi. Okay, when that is done, diversity of opinions, interpretation and understandings will be bound to ensure that the law of a case is decreed according Al-Quran. And process of mazhab fiqh began after the death of the Prophet Muhammad. Okay, next is law that can be changed according to the circumstance of the environment, and time usually refer to the cultural values, customs and needs of society. For example, at the beginning of the creation of man, the situation at that time was in atmosphere of narrowness due to the small number of people. Then Allah allowed the marriage of a woman with a brother, and then the law remained until the human race become more numerous and widespread. Then sibling marriage was forbidden at that time. Okay, it's not true to say that a country bound by this set cannot be directly removed from it, because there are some things that cannot be resolved. Then it needs to help of other mazhab. For example, according to mazhab Syafi'i, if the husband and wife are accidentally touched, then his wudu will be void. And according to mazhab Maliki and Hanbali, his wudu will not be cancelled if you touch your wife without syahwat.
My name is Muhammad Azam bin Zaradi, street number 2022961379. Today I want to talk about istihalah concept in halal industry. Okay, istihalah, definition of istihalah is change, the transformation of an alkaline substance into a separate substance. And the term of istihalah is alkaline or haram material change its concept and form and nature into another halal material and is different from the original material in terms of name, criteria and properties. And there is a dalil about istihalah and the process of istihalah in Al-Quran in Surah An-Nahl, verse 66. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa inna lakum fil an'ami la'ibrah nusqikum mimma fi butunihi min bayni farsin wa damin labanan khalisan sa'igan lisharibin. Assalamualaikum. It means surely there is a lesson for you in the cattle. We provide you to drink out of that which is in their bellies between the feces and the blood, which means it is pure milk, which is a palatable drink for those who take it. So the meaning of this verse in Surah An-Nahl, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala as the intention of His servant to pay attention to farm animal, because in fact in the farm animal there is valuable lesson, namely that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala separates meat from blood and feces. The animal ate grass and from that food was produced blood and feces. Between the two God produced clean and nutritious meat. It shows that Allah is almighty and great in His mercy for His servant. Next, I will talk about mazhab views about istihalah. There is a fairly significant disagreement among ulama on this issue. In general, the concept of istihalah is used in ittifaq in only few cases, because among the fuqaha of the past, there are ulama who accept the concept of istihalah in a limited way, as seen in the madhab Syafi'i and Hanbali. Some accept it more openly, such as the madhab Hanafi, Maliki and Ibn Hazm. Like in the madhab Syafi'i and Hanbali, the concept of terminology is accepted in only three things. First is wine that become vulgar naturally. Second is skin of dead animal other than dog and pigs when tanned, which means is sama, something that turn into an animal like a carcass that turn into caterpillar because of the existence of life. Wine that turn into vulgar due to human action altering it for purpose of speeding up the process of exchange is not considered sacred. Next, I will talk about three types of istihalah. The first, istihalah sahihah, the process of changing from a halal material is made with a halal or haram modifying agent and produce a halal final product. Example, plants that are fertilized with feces and produce fruit. Next is istihalah fasidah. Second is istihalah fasidah, the process of mixing halal or haram ingredient with halal or haram, transforming agent and producing an haram final product. Example, the cake is made using alcohol as a flavor agent. Next is istihalah mulghah, the process of change from a haram original material mixed with an haram transforming agent and produce a final product that is also haram. Example is pig that are fat, feces and their status remain haram.
Good morning everyone, my name is Naufal bin Yazid, student number 2022798113. Today I'm gonna present about a view of ulama about Bon China. So basically this is an example of this title. So what is Bon China? Bon China is a new type of pottery that use animal bones as one of its contents. The bone is burned up to 1000 degrees Celsius until it changes its nature and shape. Bon China is then mixed with other materials such as clay to make it hard. For example, set of flake from Bon China. So 3 common types of bones used globally to create Bon China is number 1, the bones of cattle, the bones of goats, and the bones of pig. So some tips for recognizing Bon China dishes. There is the word fine bone on the plate. There is a saying Bon China bones or plates are cheaper, thinner and more shiny. Next, view ulama about halal and haram of Chinese bone. The issue arises as to whether the animal waste bones were taken it's haram or haram to use. So view of ulama. Muzakarah Nationality Fatwa 2012. If bowl or plate bone China taken from the bones of the animal from najis mukhalazah, it's obvious haram. But if taken from cow or goat's bones, must be selected first, and if taken from animals that have been selected, it's halal. Next, view of 4 mazhab. Mazhab Hanafi and Maliki both allow the use of Bon China for Muslim consumers because they accept the method of istialah as an instrument of purification in Islam. So it doesn't matter what animal are used. By using the process of istialah, it will change the physical of bone into a mineral material. Mazhab Shafi and Hanbali both do not require the use of Bon China because they assume that there is not method istialah in the manufacture of Bon China. Using the process of istialah, but using the bone of inedible animals such as pig, the product is considered haram. Use it because nature of excrement of the bone will be not lost. Hadith from Hasan bin Ali radhiyallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ta'ama yaribuka ilama yaribuka, fa inna sidqa tama'nina wa inal kadhiba riba." If what is doubt to you, those who do not doubt. So verily the truth is a tranquility, and verily the lie is a doubt. Riwayat At-Tirmidzi. So if you doubt to use a plate made from Bon China, you should leave it. So as conclusions, studying fiqh is very important for the Muslim individual to undergo Sharia compliant life as direct by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because it all leads to the care of religion, soul, intelligence, lineage and property. Even more important for preachers and educators to better master this knowledge. at least they can expect in one of the fiqh such as fiqh ibadah, muamalat, mulakahat, crime and everything.